the staff. You'll notice that I numbered 5 lines from the bottom up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold up your hand in front of you. You have 5 fingers. Turn your hand sideways. Count from your pinky on the bottom to your thumb on the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 lines. Look at your hand again. How many spaces do you have between your fingers? 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 spaces on the staff. We'll say the staff, the staff, the staff, the staff. The lines and the spaces are called the staff. Now that we know what the staff looks like, let's talk about the things that are going to be on the staff. Next week, we're going to talk about this cool sign right here. One of my favorites called the treble clef. But let's briefly discuss these 2 numbers right here. You'll notice that one of the numbers is in the top 2 spaces and one of the numbers is in the bottom 2 spaces. We are mostly concerned with the top number. Whatever the top number is, that's how many beats we're going to get in every measure. You might remember us talking about this last week and the week before. I see a 4-4 time signature. 4 on the top means we get 4 beats in every measure. You probably remember us talking about the quarter notes and the half notes. Here's our 4 quarter notes, and each quarter note gets 1 beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 beats in each measure. Remember, you could use a rhythm word like ta, so we could count ta, 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 ta for each quarter note. But we also talked about the half notes. A half note gets 2 beats. So you could say ta, ta, or maybe you might want to use another word like two, since it gets 2 beats. Two, two. But those aren't the only notes we have. We have some notes that have a shorter duration than the quarter notes, and we have some notes that have a longer duration than the half notes. Let's take a look at a few new notes today. Let's start with the shortest duration, the eighth notes. Every eighth note gets half of a beat. So for 1 beat, 1, we're going to split it in half and say and. So when the quarter notes say 1, 2, 3, 4, your eighth notes will be counted 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Because each eighth note is half the duration of a quarter note, they move twice as fast. With our quarter notes, your rhythm word can be ta, like this. Ta, 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 ta. And your eighth note needs to be shorter, so we can say T. T, 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 T. Let's read all of the eighth notes and then all of the quarter notes. Are you ready? 1, 2, ready, here we go. T, 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 T. Ta, 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 ta. Let's take a look at some longer notes. We already know the half note. Half notes get 2 beats. You could say ta, ta, or 2, 2. But there's a note that's even longer than the half note, and it's the whole note. Now here's something easy to remember. The whole note gets the whole measure. How many beats are in the measure? 4. So we're going to count out 4 beats, but while I do it, I'm going to hold the word whole, like this. Whole. The half note gets half of the measure. This first half note gets the first 2 beats. The second half note gets the second 2 beats. Notice the whole note does not have a stem like the other notes. Let's read the half notes and the whole note, and we'll read it all together. Ready? 1, 2, ready, here we go. 2, 2, whole. Now let's read all of the notes. We're going to go from eighth notes to quarter notes to half notes to a whole note. Nice and steady. 1, 2, ready, here we go. T, 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 ta, 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 2, 2, whole. Now, when we play this on the recorder, remember that it's all going to be played with your mouth saying the word.
Now that we're familiar with more notes, let's practice playing them. You probably remember playing the quarter notes last week and the week before. Let's practice on our quarter notes one more time. Remember, your quarter note gets one sound per beat. In your head, you could think ta, 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 but your mouth needs to say t, 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 making sure that you touch the back of your teeth with your tongue. Let's play 4 quarter notes on a C sharp. Remember, the C sharp is left hand on top, right hand on bottom, no fingers on the holes. Let's do our quarter notes. 1, 2, ready, and play. One more time. Ready, quarter notes. Now that we've practiced our quarter notes, let's also practice our eighth notes. Remember, an eighth is half the length of a quarter. That means your eighth notes are twice as quick as your quarter notes. The quarter notes were on the beat. Ta, 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 ta. But your eighth notes are going to be 2 sounds per beat, like this. T, 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 T. So I will be playing. But we have to make sure we keep a steady flow in our breath. We don't want to take breaths between them like this. We want to make sure that you do it all on one breath, but you have to say 8 times in 4 beats. It's going to look and sound like this. I'm going to play it on the B. Left hand on top, first finger on the first hole. That's all. Here are my eighth notes. 1, 2, ready, here I go. This time I want you to play with me. We're going to do it twice. Make sure that your first finger is sealed completely over the hole. You can see the little bubble on my finger that it makes. I'm holding my finger entirely over the hole so there are no air leaks. Leaks cause squeaks. Let's play 4 beats of eighth notes. That means you'll have to play 8 notes. On B, 1, 2, ready, and play. One more time. Ready, here we go. Let's go back and review the half note. Remember, the half note gets 2 beats. That means my steady beat is here. 1, 2, 3, 4. It will last this long. Ta, ta, or you could say 2, 2. Make sure that you hold on to it with a steady breath and don't waver. We want to play both of our half notes in the same breath. Don't take a breath between them. You're going to separate the notes by touching the back of your teeth with your tongue, saying, let's play our half notes on an A. You're going to take your left hand and place 2 fingers over the first 2 holes. 1, 2. This is A. Great, let's play some half notes. 1, 2. Ready, here we go. One more time. Ready and play. The last note we need to review today is the whole note. The whole note is going to get the whole measure. That's 4 beats. Our whole note will last this long. Whole. You could also think ta, but our mouth is going to play. Remember, you need to keep a steady breath that doesn't change in how soft or hard you're blowing throughout the entire note. If you start to lose your breath, it'll start to warble and get soft. But if you're blowing too hard, it's going to squeak, especially at the beginning. So we need to make sure we start our with the same steady breath and carry it all the way across 4 beats. This time, let's play a G. A G is played by placing your left hand, first 3 fingers on the top 3 holes. 1, 2, 3. Let's play the whole note. 1, 2, ready, steady, breath. Play it again, ready and go. Try one more time, keep it steady. Here we go. Remember, if your whole note sounded squeaky at the beginning, you need to start a little softer. But if your whole note started to fade away by the time you got to the end of the 4 beats, you need to keep your breath steady and moving all the way to the end of the note. Now that we've practiced playing different notes that have different durations or values, let's put them together to continue working on the song we're learning this quarter. Mary Had a Little Lamb begins on C sharp. We practiced the first 2 measures last week. It sounds like this. Your next 2 measures have 3 B's in a row, 2 quarter notes, and then a half note. B, 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 followed by 3 C sharps in a row, quarter note, half note, like this. C sharp, C sharp, C sharp. They sound like this. Let's try those 2 measures together. B, 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 C sharp, C sharp, C sharp. You play with me. 1, 2, begin on B. Let's put the first 4 measures together, beginning on C sharp. 1, 2, ready and play. The next 2 measures are the same as the first 2 measures. Play them with me. 1, 2, begin on C sharp. The last 2 measures are a little bit different. They look like this. B, B, C sharp, B, A. Did you notice that the A lasted a really long time at the end? It's a whole note. Make sure when you get to your whole note, you hold it out for 4 beats. A. Let's take a look at those last 2 measures one more time. They look like this. B, B, C sharp, B. And then here's your whole note. A. Try it with me. 1, 2, ready and play. If you're able to, try to play both measures in one breath. If you need a breath, wait to take it right before you play your long whole note. If you're ready to practice the entire song all the way through, I'll include that track on another video.